This week we got updates on E3, the PSVR 2, and more, so let's just go ahead, together, as a people, and check it out! And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and I'm back to chit chat about the gaming news. And you know, when there's a lot of news around the summertime, that's when we usually see E3 come around, and we get a lot of new games announced, some new trailers for upcoming games, and even our occasional hardware announcement. Well, since the pandemic, we haven't had a proper E3, and this year was supposed to be the big comeback. But something's been going on with the show. I mean, you had Microsoft and Nintendo pull out of E3. Sony has been pulled out prior to the pandemic, and then recently, Ubisoft pulled out. Well, the ESA has officially canceled E3 for this year. The ESA basically said there wasn't enough interest from companies to put on the type of showcases they planned. The ESA president and CEO, Stanley Pierre-Louis, did an interview with GameIndustry.biz and further elaborated on why the show was canceled. He's quoted as saying, first, several companies have reported that the timeline for game development has been altered since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Second, economic headwinds have caused several companies to reassess how they invest in large marketing events. And third, companies are starting to experiment with how to find the right balance between in-person events and digital marketing opportunities. So as the Engadget article points out, a lot of companies likely didn't have demos ready in time or didn't want to allocate the resources to have playable demos for the show floor, since they're still trying to get caught up on their development timelines. Jeff Keighley also tweeted that Summer Game Fest will still go on later this year. So from the standpoint of people watching from home like me, there'll still be a lot of announcements and news around the summertime. Microsoft and Ubisoft are still going to have their showcases. I'm sure Nintendo and Sony will have something, as well as a lot of the other big publishers and developers. For now, the ESA has declined to comment on if we'll see E3 in 2024. So overall, it's just not looking good for the show. Like the ESA president alluded to in his quote, maybe it doesn't make sense for companies to spend the money to rent booth space and have playable demos available when they can just stream their own events, and it would probably be cheaper overall. I think it may hurt smaller developers that could have possibly got eyes on their games at the show, especially if they're not part of like a bigger showcase like a Microsoft or a Sony event. Either way, for now, we gotta say RIP to E3. And while we're on the topic of things that might not be doing well, we got some rumors about the state of the PSVR 2. So there are reports that it's currently underperforming when it comes to sales. The rumor is Sony has sold around 270,000 units as of the end of March. A previous rumor stated that they produced around 2 million units. It's also being speculated that they may cut price in order to sell more units. Now, there was also a rumor that I covered back in January from Bloomberg prior to launch that Sony was going to cut the projected shipments in half, which Sony came out and denied. Other than that, Sony has not put out any numbers about how many headsets they produced, how many they expected to sell, or the current sales of the headset. So again, this is all based on rumor and speculation. Now, I did do a video about the headset before launch, and I said feature-wise, it made sense why the price is $550, but as a PlayStation accessory, that price didn't make much sense. From what I've heard, it's a great headset, but VR isn't as hot as it was when they launched PSVR 1, and I feel like casual gamers aren't going to see the value in buying a headset that expensive. Also, as someone that's had a VR headset since 2016, the games really haven't been there. There are occasionally standout titles like Half-Life Alyx and Beat Saber, but they're really few and far between. Now, I love VR and I'm glad to have a VR headset, but I think with the current state of VR that it's very possible that these rumors are true. I applaud Sony for making such a high quality headset with awesome features. I'm just not sure who they're expecting to sell it to. But you know what they don't sell new anymore? Nintendo Wii and GameCube games. But there are other ways to play those games, and that's what we're going to be talking about in our final story. So if you're a fan of emulation, you've probably heard of the Wii and GameCube emulator Dolphin. It allows you to play games that you own the physical copy of and have legally created copies of them to play. Well, apparently they're officially bringing Dolphin to Steam. So Dolphin is already free and you could just install it on a PC anyway, but having it as a Steam title would just make it easier for someone that, I don't know, has a Steam Deck and wants to play their legally copied GameCube or Wii games on there. I mean, you can set it up right now on the deck. There are just a few more steps involved in the process. So this kind of streamlines the process for Steam Deck users. It could also open the door for more emulators to be added to Steam, which would again be awesome for deck users. The beta of the Steam version of Dolphin is launching in Q2 of this year, with the full release expected later this year. I've set up a few emulators on my Steam Deck already, like Yuzu for the Switch and PCSX2 for the PS2. Plus, I have some old Wii and GameCube games that I've been looking to rip anyway, so I'll probably check that out as soon as it releases. But for now, I'm going to get out of here and go check out Night 2 of WrestleMania. But let me know what you think down below. Are you disappointed about E3's cancellation? Do you think Sony made a mistake by selling the PSVR 2 at $550? And are you excited about Dolphin coming to Steam? Again, let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified when I drop a video or a live stream. And always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.